Have you ever noticed how lost things often turn up in the unlikeliest of places? Well, it turns out missing people occasionally follow the same strange rule. From the missing millionaire starting a new life with a remote tribe, to the impossible case of the man found inside a dinosaur, let's take a look at some impossible places people were found. In 1969, celebrated American journalist and mustache connoisseur Milt Macklin, along with a documentary film crew, traveled to Papua New Guinea to investigate a missing persons case that was disturbing the nation: the disappearance of Michael Rockefeller. While Milt had hoped to capture the magic moment, he found Michael Rockefeller alive and well. Sadly, his search wasn't successful. After returning home to the States, most of the footage shot by the crew was put into storage. But little did Milt realize he was storing away a vital piece of evidence to the whereabouts of the famously missing Michael Rockefeller. Born in 1938, Michael was the son of New York Governor and later U.S. Vice President Nelson Rockefeller, of the famously ultra-wealthy Rockefeller dynasty. But while his relatives spent their time busy with the world of business, Michael was more interested in adventure and spent much of his time exploring the tribal cultures of Papua New Guinea. On November 17, 1961, Rockefeller was traveling up a region of notoriously crocodile-infested swampland known as the Land of Lapping Death, when his small catamaran was swept out to the sea and capsized in rough waves. After spending the night clinging to the overturned boat, Michael struck out for land, telling his sole companion, anthropologist Rene Wassing, that he was going to swim the several miles to shore for help. Rene stayed with the vessel and was rescued the next day, but Michael never returned. 3 years after he vanished, Michael Rockefeller was declared legally deceased. Many claimed that Michael drowned trying to swim to shore, or met his maker in the jaws of a crocodile. But others insist he met an even more horrible fate. Retired missionary Jat Smith, who is said to have known Michael personally, had an extraordinary tale to tell about the millionaire's end. Jat claimed that members of the Asmat tribe had told him that Michael made it to shore, before being picked up by the tribe. The tribe then proceeded to consume a hearty dinner of roasted Rockefeller. While this may sound crazy to us, the Asmat people did have a history of such behavior, and reports of it continued well into the 1990s, so this may be what happened to our missing millionaire. But what about that missing documentary footage? Well, back in 2011, another documentary crew was looking to make a film about Michael's disappearance, and got Milt's old footage out of storage. But, when reviewing the footage, the documentary crew spotted something more incredible than they could have possibly imagined. In one shot of numerous Asmat people paddling in war canoes, the camera caught a momentary glimpse of a white man amongst them who looked nothing like the rest of the islanders. But could it be Michael? Well, maybe. Seeing as the footage was dated to 1969, it's possible that, as opposed to meeting his end in 1961 as originally thought, Michael joined the Asmat people and lived out the rest of his days with them. A happy, but certainly strange ending indeed. But while the pale man's appearance certainly stands out amongst the rest, there is another theory to explain the clip. When asked about the mind-boggling footage, cameraman Malcolm Kirk said that he didn't remember taking much notice of the man at the time. However, he did find a good reference to an albino tribe member in the journal he kept at the time, which is the only loose thread that might offer an alternative explanation. When Alaskan Airlines Flight 448 soared out of Seattle towards sunny Los Angeles on April 13, 2015, passengers settled in for what they assumed would be an uneventful trip. Little did they know, a peculiar twist was about to unfold beneath their feet. As the aircraft took off, a strange commotion began to reverberate through the passenger cabin. First came the ominous sounds of banging, soon accompanied by the unmistakable cries of desperate screams echoing from below. With panicked passengers and cabin crew alike, a mere 14 minutes after takeoff, the pilot found himself making a hairpin turn back towards the airport for an emergency landing. Upon touchdown, airport personnel rushed to the cargo doors, behind which they were shocked to find that huddled inside the plane's cargo hold was a person. That person was Willa Junior, one of the airport's baggage workers. He, while doing his duties, had drifted off for a nap in the hold during his shift, but failed to reawaken in time, and no one had realized he was in there before takeoff. Waking up in pitch darkness, Willa was initially confused and disoriented, but he quickly realized where he was, and that the plane was now on the move. The phone call he initially made to Menzies Aviation, his employer responsible for baggage services, was dismissed as a prank. Even 911 proved that the call abruptly cut off, leaving Junior with no lifeline to cling to. Faced with what he thought was certain death, Junior took one last effort and pounded relentlessly on the metallic ceiling. Luckily, his cries for help captured the attention of the passengers above. With temperature control and pressurization geared towards ensuring the safety of live cargo like pets, Junior's nap adventure caused minimal risk to his well-being. Junior got away with his health intact, but the same can't be said for his career. While Junior somehow managed to keep his job with Menzies, Alaskan Airlines swiftly banned him from working on any more of their flights. At the crack of dawn on a chilly Tuesday morning, just as a construction crew arrived at a Togo's sandwich shop on Soskol Avenue in Napa, California, they heard a peculiar sound. As they entered the store to carry out work before opening hours began, their ears caught unmistakable human cries emanating from one of the vents, making them to call authorities to investigate. As emergency services arrived and searched the premises, they found a man, disrobed and disoriented, clinging to the inner recesses of Togo's vent shaft. After being extracted from his peculiar prison, 48-year-old Robert Turbidy confessed about the adventure the night before. To find this mythical wishing well, he climbed to the roof of the building armed with a white rope, which he'd used to try and lower himself into the building. But his dreams of finding a wishing well in the vent were dashed when the rope quickly snapped, leaving him to tumble down into the shaft. From then, he spent the night within the hollow confines of the vent. Robert was taken to the hospital with minor injuries and was later arrested on suspicion of attempted burglary of the restaurant. In September 2016, Spanish fisherman Luigi Marquez found himself in a fishy situation during a storm. A set of extremely rough waves threw Luigi overboard, and losing track of his boat, he was lost at sea. The Coast Guard didn't hold out much hope for a safe return home. 3 days later, Luigi returned to land with a tale worthy of its chapter in the Bible. When asked what had happened to him, Luigi claimed that after he fell overboard, he wasn't only swallowed up by stormy waves, but also by a whale. Surviving on raw fish, guided by the faint glow of his waterproof watch in the belly of the beast, Luigi's epic tale concluded with being, quote-unquote, flushed out of the whale's, exit passage. While Luigi's ordeal is nothing more than a phony fisherman's tale, for diver Michael Packard, whale tales aren't a thing of fiction. In a bizarre incident on a June morning in 2021, while diving for lobsters, Michael found himself inside the mouth of a whale for real, off Herring Cove Beach in Massachusetts. Initially, Michael thought he was inside the jaws of a great white shark, but after noticing the lack of teeth and injury, it quickly dawned on him that he was actually inside the mouth of a humpback. After about 30 seconds of struggle, the whale breached above the water's surface and spat Michael right out. After being fished out of the water, he emerged after a checkup at Cape Cod Hospital with some soft tissue damage but no broken bones. The mystery of missing persons found in unexplained circumstances continues to amaze and intrigue us. These cases often involve unidentified individuals found in seemingly impossible places, raising questions about how they ended up there.